Our very own David Rizicki is standing outside the death chamber in Huntsville right now, where this is all set to take place. David, tell me what you're seeing right now.
Right now it's kind of quiet. There's not a lot of protesters here yet. A lot of media people setting up, and there's the state authorities, the DPS officers are putting up some yellow caution tape to get ready for protesters. They expect some protesters to be on the way later in the evening. So that's what I'm waiting for now.
Okay.
And
go ahead, David.
I did run into one resident who was walking his dog. He didn't want to give his name, but he said he was against the death penalty. He said an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth leaves us all blind and toothless. So that's what his quote was.
And that seems to be the sentiment of a lot of people here in the state of Texas. One of the reasons, obviously, while we probably have the death penalty still in place, but usually when you're covering these types of things outside the death chambers, you usually do see a lot of protesters from both sides, even both pro-death penalty and anti-death penalty. So, David, is that pretty much what we're expecting to see later today? I know you said right now there's not a lot of that. It wouldn't be unusual for that to take place later today.
Yeah, they're gearing up for it because there's more and more police officers coming out here, DPS officers with the yellow caution tape and vehicles lining up, and that's what they're expecting later in the evening. But it's a little warm out here right now. So.
Okay, and just describe the death chamber. I understand you're standing outside the building where the death chamber is. Describe that for me. Just kind of paint a picture of what you're seeing.
It looks like an old red barn of some sort, and then it's got the big barbed wire fence around it, and you see a woman up in one of the guard towers with a rifle. She's guarding prisoners from escaping, I guess, and she's kind of looking out at the reporters while we're standing here.
Okay. Now, have you heard, has Kimberly McCarthy been brought into that building yet at this point?
No, she hasn't.
Okay, so we're still waiting for that to happen. After that happens, obviously, once we come to 6 p.m., they're free to go ahead and begin the execution process, in which case we'll hear more. What about members of the families of both of these people, Kimberly McCarthy as well as her victim, Dorothy Booth? Are they there? Are they saying anything right now?
They're not here at the moment. It's very, very quiet in Erie, actually. Now, it was just a few minutes ago, it was very, very quiet, kind of like the calm before the storm, and there's a lot of reporters arriving now, setting up cameras, and that's about it.
All right, well, David, of course, we thank you for continuing to follow this, and we'll be coming to you for updates throughout our newscast. David, once again, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, well, once again, KPFT's David Rizicki is now outside the death chamber in Huntsville, and he's joining us live. David, we don't have a whole lot of time, but briefly, just say what's going on now. Has anything changed since we first came to you?
Not much has changed, just there's a few people that are trying to get through, and there's some DPS officers telling them to stand behind the line.
So when you say get through, what line are we talking about exactly? What aren't they allowing them access to?
There's a little street that runs in front of the execution building, and they have caution tape on both sides of the street. So
okay,
there's some people having a conversation with the officers right now.
All right, trying to keep everybody safe. David, thanks for that update. And, of course, we'll continue to follow this with Execution Watch here on KPFT starting at 6 p.m.